Hello, and welcome to the Q Tips for Life. My name is Brittany, and I'm just a regular girl trying to figure it all out and decided to do that in front of the camera. Today's video is the truth about the self-love journey. It's not easy. Go figure, right? But I really feel like it's important to say that just out the gate. It's not easy. Because a lot of people, I feel like, have kind of glorified the self-love journey and this healing journey that we have all kind of jumped into. And then in the midst of it, you're realizing that it is really not as glamorous and as beautiful as it seems on social media. And I myself have struggled through it and decided that I would create this channel as a space to have the tough conversations, to be honest with myself and honest with someone else, to talk about the things that I keep inside in hopes that it begins a conversation, a beautiful open dialogue where we are all able to have a safe space and a safe space for, again, the regular girl. I'm not super rich. I don't have like this crazy, fantastic lifestyle, and I am not giving you fake. I am not giving you fabricated wealth. I am not giving you all of those things. What I will give is the tips that I learned along the way, the hard truths, the tough conversations, my vulnerability at its core. And if that's something that you're interested in, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and let's heal together, okay? Because here on this channel, we are living with intention in hopes of having the best time in life and truly getting to know ourselves. So, hey, I'm your sister, cousin, friend, whoever you need me to be at the moment. You get what I'm saying? So I'm here for you. And, you're here for me. Look at this, So, hey, thank you. Welcome to my soul tribe. But honestly, in all seriousness, I wanted to kind of really get into the truth about the self-love journey. And not to just say that it's hard, but to also really dive into what is not said, what kind of gets lost in all of the glamour of it. Because once you are in it, there are parts, I'm not going to lie, that are absolutely remarkable, that are absolutely beautiful, breathtaking even. And there are also parts of it that are gut-wrenching, are hard, are painful, are full of tears. And at times you just feel like your face is just cracked open and there's just no way to hold back the tears that are going to flow. But it's necessary, as crying is healing. So just to kind of get to my major points, first, let's talk about the fact that this journey is yours and yours alone. Oftentimes, we kind of enter into our self-love journey thinking that everyone around us is going to understand, that they are going to not only understand, but are going to be open to the fact that you yourself may change. In the midst of this, you may not be the same person that you was before this journey started. And that means that they're going to have to relearn you. They're going to have to get to know the person that you are now versus the person that you used to be. And for some, it's not an easy pill to swallow. And for others, it's refreshing, it's beautiful, it's joy. And sometimes it's even inspiration for them themselves to go out and begin this self-love journey and get to know themselves better and to focus on their own personal healing and to want to dig deep. And the journey being one of solitude is sometimes very lonely. But there's a peace in knowing that even though at this time you may be alone, you're not lonely. And what I mean by that is there has to be, for me at least, there had to be some sense of belief, some sense of faith in something outside of myself. And for me personally, that was God, honey. And when I mean held my hand every time, helped me get the tissues from the bathroom to wipe the snot from my lip, okay, and really was there for me to have those tough conversations that I didn't feel comfortable having with anyone else, that ability to just be honest and unafraid of judgment and raw. Now, for all of us, this may be different. It may not be your belief system. It may be that one person that you just feel like you can be completely vulnerable with. And that's beautiful. But I urge you to keep the conversations regarding your self-love journey limited. This is sacred. This journey is sacred. It is not something that you need to jump and share with everyone that you know. And it's because you're going to experience ebbs and flows. You're going to experience good days and you're going to experience bad days. And on those bad days, you want to not necessarily feel like you're going to be judged or ridiculed for something that you may say in the moment or in that passion or in that vulnerability. The thoughts that we may have today may not necessarily be the thoughts that we have tomorrow. But in this moment, you maybe just need to express. And you maybe just need to be able to say that and it not necessarily be something that will be thrown at you later, I guess you could say, right? So it's important to know that this journey is yours, but to also understand that, it's okay to reach for a accountability partner, I guess you could say, accountability partner in the midst of this very somewhat lonely journey. And in my solitude, I've learned so much about myself. I've learned how much in my day-to-day life I was settling, how much I wanted, but not for me, but for other people, how much I myself didn't have the same aspirations as I did 10 years ago. And in sitting in that moment, felt like nobody else around me could understand. There's no way. There's just no way no one around me is going to be able to understand what it is that I'm going through, understand what it is that I'm experiencing. And so, again, I kept a lot of that to myself. And it was just me and God trucking through this thing, honey. And at times it was hard. But it was also the most beautiful thing because I didn't have to ever worry about anything that I had said being thrown back at me. I didn't have to worry about feeling as if I couldn't heal out loud. I was able to have those moments of clarity and of hurt and not feel judged by the outside world or people that I knew or friends or family, right? And also in this journey being that one of solitude, I also learned exactly what I mentioned earlier in reference to people not necessarily always being understanding, not being understanding, them not being able to truly comprehend the fact that you're changing, you're evolving. It's the caterpillar that once existed that is going into their cocoon to become this beautiful butterfly. You're not going to come out the other end the same. And that brings me to my second point. It's okay to grieve the loss of your past self. It's okay to say, wow, I don't like that anymore. And be able to kind of sit in that and feel like, dang, I used to really love that spot we used to go to. I used to really love it there. But now, it just doesn't feel right anymore. And accepting that the different things, the ways in which you may operate are different, and accepting the grief, that loss of your old self. For example, me, before this journey, oh my God, like I loved all the bundles, all the makeup, all the latest this, all the latest that. And as I kind of went through my journey, I decided to grow locks, honey, and I love them. They're so me. And I don't wear makeup all the time, as you guys will see here on my channel. Oftentimes, I am not a girl that is walking around with a full face of makeup, but me back then, you couldn't tell her anything. You could not tell her we did not have to have a full face on just to go run errands. I was that girl. Now, granted, there's nothing wrong with being that girl, because some of us are on at every moment, and honey, I praise you for that. But I just didn't want to be that. I was okay with letting my skin breathe. I was okay with loving on myself and knowing that a lot of what I was doing cosmetically and, even with my hair was to mask the hurt and the pain that I was experiencing. And so eventually that experience with makeup and all the hair and all of the latest this and that became tied to masking for me. And I didn't want to hide anymore. I didn't want to feel ashamed of what it is that I was experiencing. Instead, I wanted to be honest. I wanted to cry. I wanted to crack open. I wanted to release it. I wanted to figure out a way to heal from the things that I was experiencing, or the things that I had experienced in my past that I had just carrying around with me. And it was hard. It was hard. And I remember meditating and seeing my past self and watching her day to day and feeling what she felt and sharing with her those moments, even in writing in my journal that, wow, girl, I wish we would have did this years ago. I wish we would have took the time out to truly allow ourselves to fall, allow ourselves to crack open, allow ourselves to be vulnerable, allow ourselves to really release it all. And not just let it go, but to deal with it, to heal with it. And I think for so long, I didn't want to deal because, of course, it's uncomfortable. Duh, but seriously, it's uncomfortable. And who volunteers to be uncomfortable is what I used to always tell myself. Who volunteers to go out and choose to sit in front of someone, bear their all, and have the tough conversations? And at the time, which is going to bring me to my third point, I felt the need to do it for those around me. I felt the need to do it because I had a child that depended on me. And postpartum depression was kicking my, like she was coming full-fledged, punching, like ready to go at any given moment. I'm spending 45 minutes to an hour in the shower because I have my baby in the bassinet next to me and I'm crying my eyes out because my life is not what I thought it would be at at the time, at the age of 25. And it was a rough patch for me. It was hard. And I felt like nobody would understand, nobody would get it. And if I expressed it to everybody, they would just think I'm crazy because I'm going through this moment of just feeling like everything is happening at once. I'm hurt, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm overjoyed, I'm bonding with my child, but then I'm also in this space where I feel completely lost as a person myself and tied hard, like buried myself in motherhood to the point where I wasn't clear about my why. And your why is important because if your why is contingent on someone else, if your why is contingent on to be honest, any external source, it is bound to fail. And the reason why I say that is because regardless of how we want to say love is unconditional in some aspects, love is conditional for a lot of people. And even for me, I found that as I was healing and wanting to do this for everyone else but me, I was growing to kind of build a wall around myself because I started to see just how much I had moved the things that I liked and my desires and the things that I wanted for myself for the sake of pleasing others. And then it hardened me. It made me kind of resent the people that I love because I'm like, wow, like you talked me out of this dream. You talked me out of this dream. You did this to me when I was a child and you made me feel this way and I was abandoned in this way. And it was because my why wasn't me. It was because my why was not me. My daughter, of course, like any other person, continued to grow up. And honey has a mouth on her, right? But I know where she gets it from, honest. I got a mouth on me, right? And in the midst of all of that, realized like, wow, like she's getting ready to go to school and all of these things that I've done to heal and to do all these things, it's almost like I was holding so tight to my bond and my relationship with my daughter that I didn't see that my daughter going to school and growing up was a part of this journey all along. And I know that sounds crazy, but bear with me, right? Because it was such a huge transition period because she was my why. And now my why was going to school and entering into a new journey all of her own. And I was lost at that moment because I felt like, okay, well, my day-to-day doesn't consist of motherhood all the time, every day, all day. So now what do I do? Okay, well, I work and I have this job and it's okay, but I would much rather be with her. I would much rather be bonding. I would much rather be walking in the park. I would much rather us be able to truly experience the things that we enjoy. And I remember even looking at my daughter and saying to her, mommy loves you. And she said, yes. And she said, and I love you, Mom. And you're doing a great job. And I'm trying not to get emotional, right? But when she said that to me, you're doing a great job. It's like, and to be honest, for those of you who don't have kids, listen, get yourself around some kids, because one thing I will tell you is that kids will always be honest with you. They don't have the filters that we have, you know? And I could tell in that moment she could see my doubt. I could tell in that moment she could see my fear. I could tell in that moment she could see even how hard her going to school was on me, just like it was for her. Like, she's going to school and every day she's crying, and every day I'm crying, and I'm trying to hold it together until I get to my car and I break down immensely, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've somehow gained this unhealthy attachment to my kid. And it's because I made my why a person and not myself. Not, I want to be healthy. Not, I want to have a clear mind. Not, I want to be happy. But I want to be good for her. I want to grow for her. I want to heal for her. I want her to have the best mom. I want her to be able to say, wow, my mother went through a lot, but she didn't let it defeat her. She didn't let it beat her. But again, because my why was an external source, once that source was not near me or wasn't around me, or I didn't feel the same, I guess you could say, like endorphins from it, right, that I was before, and she now was in school and evolving and on her own path, I realized how hard it was again to realize that, girl, you did a little bit of healing, honey, but like, in your heart of hearts that healing is a continuous journey. You know that things are going to come up, and this is something that you have to face. You have to heal from this unhealthy attachment. And don't get me wrong, I love my daughter more than the sun, moon, stars, and the whole universe. But she's her own person and she's on her own journey. But all in all, I learned that your why cannot be an external source. It has to come from you. It has to be something that moves you and is going to keep you on the right path. And I find that just honestly being honest with myself, being real with myself, and saying, I want to heal. I want to feel better. I want to experience life in a greater way. I don't want to wake up every day and want to cry. Like, I want this. I want those things for myself. I want to wake up and be like, whew, girl, we feel good today. Like, yes, today will be a great day. Affirming myself, feeling great, and that was important to me and should definitely be important to you. So it's definitely something that I will urge you to know, that your why cannot be an external source, right? And also, the other piece of it is also remembering that the journey will have peaks and valleys. I feel like, again, I said it in the beginning of the video, that I feel like, we see this view of this self-love journey as such this glamorous experience. But no, allow yourself the room to crack open. Allow yourself the room to say, you know what, today is not a good day. And even though I know tomorrow's going to be better, maybe the next hour will be better. Maybe the next couple minutes will be better. Right now, it's tough. Right now, this feeling that I'm experiencing right now is heavy. Right now, this kind of position that I'm taking in wanting to heal and understand something that may have happened in my past that really hurt me is hard. And I need to sit with this. I need to cry a little bit. I need to sit down and write in my journal. I need to sit down and allow myself the space to crack open, to be vulnerable, and to be hurt, if that's what it means. And also, there's going to be those moments where you just experience these immense amount of joy. And I just feel like honestly, in the journey, you wake up some days with just all of this adrenaline and just feeling like, oh my God, you could take on the world. And in experiencing that, you just want to go out and you want to do everything, and if you're anything like me, you want to go out, you want to buy all the crystals, you want to you want to go out and buy all the things that make you feel good. Now, granted, this is coming from a person that is a Taurus sun and a Taurus rising, so listen, don't follow in my footsteps, okay? Don't go run and spend that money, sis, okay? Keep the money in your pocket. Make some better choices. Maybe invest in some stocks. Do something, that you're going to see a return on later on, right? And yeah, and just remembering that it's going to have its peaks and valleys. It's going to have its ebb and flows. There's going to be moments where it's hard. There's going to be moments where it's great. And also, being clear about the fact that everybody's journey looks different. Your journey does not have to look like your homegirl's journey. Her situation is her situation. Her life story is not the same as yours. So why did you think that your journey is going to be the same as hers? It's not. We all are experiencing our healing and our self-love journey at different times in our lives. And those moments look different for everybody. For example, with me, my healing journey began when I was experiencing postpartum depression. And a lot of my friends didn't have kids. A lot of my friends didn't even know what it was like to go through that period of time. And so I did. I felt so alone and I felt like isolated because you just don't get it. And it's difficult and it's hard and it's tough right now. And I know I'm going to be better, but you don't understand. And that's okay. That's okay. Because again, this journey is yours. It's your journey. It's not theirs. It's not up to everybody else to understand. It's not important that they understand. That weight shouldn't be on them. It's about you having those moments of clarity and also realizing like, hey, do I feel alone because I'm alone? Or do I feel alone because I've never been alone? I've never sat down with myself and actually asked myself, how do you feel? That's my first journal prompt to myself is, how do you feel? I ask myself that question in every journal entry. How do you feel? First thing that comes to mind, I write it down. And I allow myself to focus on that word or that thing or whatever that was that kind of came to me. And I allow myself the room to unpack it. And I take my time with it. I take my time because there's no rush. You don't have to be on page 55 because your homegirl's on page 55 and she got all these great things going for her and she's making money and she's doing all these things. The goals are not the same and should not be measured the same. Because you may be in a place where you're just trying to heal from childhood trauma right now. And maybe she may be in a place in her journey where it is looking like different money opportunities and her finding her way and navigating that space. But maybe her money opportunities are coming and things are kind of moving in her life in that way because in the past she's had a horrible time managing money. But you don't have that issue. That's not your situation. You don't have an issue managing money. So right now your work is to focus on childhood trauma. So we can't kind of take a look at other people's journey and think that it's going to resemble ours or be the exact same. And it's important to be honest with yourself. It's important to allow yourself room to not compare your journey to anyone else's. Because again, this journey is yours. Now, the last thing I'm going to say, and that I feel like is not spoken enough about, is that as you heal, you find people that are aligned with where it is that you're going. And you will also find that people who are kind of, and I don't believe in coincidences, to be honest with you. I don't believe in coincidences. So I feel like there are people that are placed in your journey because they are a part of your soul tribe. They are a part of where you're going. And sometimes you meet them along the way, right? And then there's also people who kind of present themselves in your life not as people that are supposed to be here long term, but people who are kind of coming in to test you. And for me personally, I feel like, God likes to do this thing with me. I call it pop quiz, honey. I call it pop quiz, where he'll pop in and a person will come through and I'll immediately recognize their energy and be like, I could see you're a sneaky one. I could see you kind of want me to change in these different ways that I don't feel comfortable changing. I can see how I'm being tested right now in people pleasing. I could see how I'm being tested right now in whether or not I want to go back to those old ways because it's what's comfortable, or because you want to go do those things. So maybe I should go do those things with you because we're just trying to have a good time. But if I'm no longer in that space, I pass that test by acknowledging that and seeing that, oh yeah, girl, I used to love doing that. Girl, what? I used to get turned up. But I don't do that no more. So, if you want to come over, girl, and like we could watch some TV and like I can make some dinner and we could just sit and chit chat and, exchange conversation and, if I'm feeling a little frisky, honey, we might, enjoy a nice glass of wine. Or, okay, I could be feeling definitely very different and want us to enjoy a nice cup of tea. Listen. And that's my truth. That may not be yours. You may be ready to get down with the get down. But I know that I'm just not in that place in my journey. And that's okay. And I pass those tests, those pop quizzes, as I call them, by showing up, remembering the work that I've been doing, and also utilizing the clarity that I've gained along the way. Utilizing those moments of being like, wow, the reason why I'm sitting in this situation of having such a hard time letting my daughter go to school and all of these things is because I've become extremely codependent on her and her love and her passion for me being a great person. And it feeds my ego, right? But if I step outside myself and realize that, one, she's on her own journey. And not only is she on her own journey, but that journey in and of itself is beautiful because it's hers. And allow her room and space to experience that and encourage her to keep at it. Encourage her to, keep going to school even when it's uncomfortable, or even when you feel like you don't have any friends, or, you're navigating, making friends, for the first time and not just being home with me. That's tough. And being a support system for that, but you're in this place where it's important to recognize that there will be tests and there will be tribe. There will be a both. There will be a mixture. And you hold true to the clarity that you've gained along your journey. And you take time to recognize what makes sense in your life and what doesn't. What fits in your life and what doesn't. And trust me, the people that are a part of your tribe, they will find a way to fit. Okay. Or honey, they will come knocking down the door. Okay. They might not even knock on the door. They may just open it. Okay. Because listen, I got some people in my life that I've met and that I've connected with, that it has truly been a remarkable experience knowing them, getting to know them, sharing space with them. And it's because they teach me just by being themselves, just by expressing, and maybe us getting on the phone and talking about moments of clarity that they reached, and then me talking to them about moments of clarity that I reached. And through that, we're able to learn from each other and grow and gain new tools and new ways of healing. And, it's fun. And that part of it is so beautiful because you're able to say like, wow, I couldn't have these conversations with them, but I know I can have these conversations with you. And that feels great. Oh my God, that feels great. Because it was a while where it was just me. It was a while where it was just me and God, okay? And like I told you, trucking through this thing, okay? Snotty nose, hella tears, okay? And at times, even when I was making them ugly faces in the mirror, honey, and I had to sit there with God and be like, I know it's going to be okay. I know it's going to be okay, and wipe my tears. And now being in those moments where I find that clarity and I have people to call and I can be like, girl, oh my God, like, you won't believe what my meditation was about. You won't believe, this moment of clarity that I came to about my life, about the things that I want. And, for example, I remember saying again and again and again and again and again and again that I wanted to start this YouTube channel. And I'm always encouraging people, start, begin, do the things that you want to do, go after your dreams. But I myself wasn't doing it. I'm like, don't nobody want to listen to me. Child, I don't have all the things. I'm not, the typical, oh my God, look at her girl. But I was like, I'm not just doing it to be that girl. And that's honest. I'm not doing it to be that girl. I'm doing it to create a community of people who want to heal and who need accountability partners and are willing to have the tough conversations and are willing to push past the barriers that they've created around themselves and let in something new, let in some light. And knowing that that's not easy, being a person who has gone through it and is still going through it, because I'm a firm believer that healing is a continuous process. It is not something that stops because you decide to press pause. It keeps going. You'll think that you healed from something, and then a couple days later or a couple months, even a couple years down the line, something about that thing will come up. And it won't be the same piece that you healed. It'll be a new piece. It'll be a new piece. Okay, it's always a new piece. And then you'd be like, I thought we dealt with this already. But then you realize, like, no, I do need to go back and get that piece. I do need to sit down and take some time to journal, to think, to gain clarity, to really understand what it is right now that's being triggered in me for that piece to come up. And how can I heal it so that I can move forward to the next test, the next chapter in my book, the next moment of healing. And in your self-love journey, you learn so much about yourself. And I invite you to take you in. Like, seriously, friend, take you in. Because you are an amazing, remarkable, evolving, ever-changing, ever-beautiful individual. And you deserve to embrace all parts of you, the good, the bad, the ugly. And honey, even the snotty nose and the tears and the ugly cry. You need to learn and be able to embrace yourself in all aspects and in all your forms. Because that's what this is about. And I know I said lastly, child, and I promise it's the last thing, and I'm going to let y'all go. Understand that self-acceptance must be practiced. Because in every moment, you are either practicing self-acceptance or you're judging yourself. That ain't my quote, Linda Arnold. Got that from Webster, but it stuck with me. That in every moment, you are either practicing self-acceptance or you are judging yourself. And I urge you not to judge yourself. I urge you to love on you, to do the things that make you happy, even if they make other people uncomfortable, to embrace the space that you make up. And understand that it's okay for you to take up space. It's okay for you to move out and be like, listen, world, I'm here now. I know I've been kind of sleeping on myself for a while, but honey, I'm up. We're awake. Okay. Oh gosh. But listen, guys, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I want this journey for you. I hope that you continue to just again embrace yourself, love on yourself. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please be sure to, if you made it to this far in the video, listen, tell me one thing you do to love on you in the comment section right now. Tell me one thing you do to love on you. I'll tell you one thing I do to love on me, just to kind of, get this ball rolling. Honey, one thing I do to love on me is I meditate while I wash dishes. And I know that may sound crazy, but I know at some point in the day, I'm always going to wash dishes. So that moment of washing dishes is about me. It's about thinking. It's about letting the first things that come to my mind, to clear, to gain awareness, to sit back and say, wow, why is this coming up? What's going on? How am I feeling about that thing? Is there a conversation I need to have with someone? Is there something that maybe I could have done differently? And I find it to be a beautiful thing. So I want to know what's yours. What's one thing that you do for you? Down in the comments below. Listen, again, like, comment, and subscribe, because there's so much more to come. I cannot wait to bond with you guys, to get to know you guys, and for us to build an amazing, dope tribe of people who are literally looking to live with intention. Listen, I'm doing me on purpose, and that's on period. Okay? And I hope you're doing you on purpose. All right? So, I love you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye now.